Have you seen the animated movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? That is a movie that is a big box office result, which made the best animated movie ever of 2018. The movie is about a teenager named Miles Morales who takes the role of Spider-Man after the original version of him was killed by Kingpin. Now, along the way, he meets up Peter B. Parker, an alternative version of Peter Parker, and meets up with Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man Noir, and Peanut Parker, and Spider-Ham. However, something strangely happened that made me lose interest of Spider-Man. Here's the story. Hi, my name is Percy. I am 14 years old and I love Spider-Man. But everything changed when I saw the new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse movie. One day, me and my little brother were at my aunt Christine's on December 5th, and I told my aunt about the latest Spider-Man movie, and my dad walked in the room saying if I would like to go see the movie tomorrow afternoon, which I said yes. The next day, we just finished up with church, and we went to the restaurant for lunch, and then we headed off to the theater. We went to the Westfield Mall, which of course the place did have a AMC. We purchased 4 tickets, and before we got in, some people told us that they were cleaning up real quick, and the credits were rolling. After what seemed to be 5 minutes, they finally let us in. I was so excited to see the movie, thinking it was going to be the good than I thought. A few minutes into the film, I had to use the bathroom, so I did. When I finished taking a pee, I walked back to the theater and noticed something strange. My dad and my brothers, Tim and Rowan, were nowhere to be seen. Probably they just secretly snuck into the restroom without me knowing. So I went searching for them, and I checked the bathrooms, but they weren't there. That meant something happened to them. We took a look at the floor, and saw them in Theater 9, where I was watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, thinking they must have saw something new that shocked them. They weren't on the floor. I went back outside to ask security on where they went, but they had no clue. I went to customer service to ask for help, and the woman called out my father and my brother's names, but she didn't know who they were. So I gave up and thinking that the movie was just seeing that it was getting so boring and completely forgot about me. Just then, I bumped into something with a black coat, and what I saw was a character pose of Spider-Man Noir. I ran as fast as I could to take cover in the theater. 2 minutes later, I saw something that scared the crap out of me. There was a spider webs on the ceiling as if they were clean less than months. After another thing went through, there were at least blood-covered hands on it too. I was about to call the police at any moment now. When I bulged out of there, I noticed that everyone was in the mall completely gone, including the employees too. After that, the power went out and I realized it was nighttime outside. I was totally freaked out and I tried to calm myself down by singing Your Rain by Erika Yamoka. I did my best I could to stop cooling my body. While searching for the exit, something touched me on the shoulder where I could hear the voice of someone saying, "Hey." I nearly didn't look behind me as if it was Miles Morales doing this. While running to get out of the way and shoulder touching the person, I saw a growing crucifix and with the cover of red blood with a silhouette of Gwen Stacy on it. What the hell am I seeing? I asked myself. I found a light in the course of the GameStop store. I noticed that there was a man who was sitting on the floor, and I asked him if he was okay, which he said, "Yes, I'm fine. Are you okay?" I was okay too, as I told him. We both went together and then found the exit of the theater just to get out of the hell out of the mall. When we got out alive, I thanked him for it, and he helped me, and of course he thanked me back. I searched for my dad's car, but I didn't see it. Just then, a police car showed up. "Ah, crap," I said. I asked the police officer if I was in trouble, but I wasn't. He claimed that he was going to give me a ride home, so I got in the car and was on my way back. I went inside and noticed my family was safe. I hugged my mom, and then when I saw her. The next day, I turned on the TV to find out that a man on the news had been arrested for kidnapping my father and my brothers. I shut off the TV to forget about what happened. I sold my Spider-Man-related stuff to the Salvation Army. To this day, I will never see any more Spider-Man movies. Say to those with faithful hearts, be strong, do not fear. God will come. He will come with vengeance. With the divine distribution, he will come and save you. Isaiah 35:4. The end. And that, my little pretties, was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Theater 9. A Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse lost episode movie pasta, I think you could call it that. Written by Ashley Armbruster. Ashley Armbruster, I want to thank you so much for the story. Now, I am going to be completely honest with this story, so I am going to be doing such. Now, first of all, I would like to say that the story was actually pretty decent and well made. Now, I could definitely say there was a lot of great context to it, like the grammar being good is one of them, the sentence structuring, the paragraph structuring, the concept. Even though I did spot maybe one or two cliches incorporated in it, the first cliche I could definitely say was the ending saying, I'm never watching Spider-Man and related stuff again. Okay. It's a cliche that I could definitely say that has been used in creepypastas, like so many of them. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I just think, oh, I'm never watching this again or something like that. Yeah, that's kind of cliche. That's cliched. I'm just trying to say, right now. Don't get me wrong. The story was enjoyable. I'm gonna be honest. But there is a few things I do have to say. Now, the one thing I could definitely say was that I don't know what it is, but I think it's kind of all over the place. And that's one of the things with the story. It just led one way to the other. It's just mainly not about Spider-Man, like an alternate movie of it. It's just, the person goes there, is watching Spider-Man, and then all of a sudden, he can't find his brothers or his, father, which, of course, I think it's just kind of confusing, in my opinion. I don't know exactly why, but I think to me it's kind of confusing when you come to look at this. It's just really confusing. I don't know why, but I just found this one, I think the buildup of it is quite confusing in my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to bash anybody's opinions on the movie. Don't sweat it. I know that. But I think the main problem with this would have to be the buildup. It's kind of like a little bit weird. But I think maybe it's just the buildup of this. And that's the really much thing that I'm definitely saying. Is that I think it's the buildup that is the main issue here. Like, I'm seeing, it's just led one way to 100. And that's kind of why I'm not really too impressed with this story. Like, I don't hate it or anything. I just think that the buildup is kind of all over the place. So I guess maybe that's what, that's what it is. I think that's what it is mainly, is because, the story, I think it's just a little all over the place, in my opinion. I don't understand why, but to me, it's kind of all over the place, in my opinion. And I can definitely say that there's a lot of more good stuff in the story, but I really do feel that it needs to be maybe it just needs to make more sense. Like, I'm not trying to bash anybody's opinion here, but I think the thing about the story is that it's build-up. The build-up of the story is just a little all over the place. And that's mainly something I'm going to say, is that the build-up of the story needs to be kind of more or less more explanatory. Like, there's barely an explanation on here. I think it's just gone for, 1 to 100, and it is quite confusing. That's just something I'm just going to say right here, right now. Like, I think the story just needs a little bit more of an explanation. What would probably make the story better is that if there was, like, a little bit more of a better explanation behind this. Because in that way, it'd be a lot easier and then more self-explanatory than not just sit there and, have no explanation at all. But other than that, the grammar is really good, I can definitely say. The concept was pretty interesting. It's not too cliched. Well, there are a few cliches in it. Well, I believe there was another cliche. I did say one or two cliches, but I'm willing to excuse the other cliche. The one cliche about, I'm not watching Spider-Man again, I can really say that's cliched. But other than that, the story was actually pretty decent in a matter of ways. But the thing I could definitely say is that maybe there needs to be a little more explanation to why all this stuff is happening, instead of just sitting there, have no explanation whatsoever at all. That's just a question. That's just something I'm gonna definitely be honest. But other than that, the story was actually very decent and really well made. Now, does that kill the story of having to be all over the place? No, of course it doesn't. But there needs to be a little bit more explanation. That's just something I'm gonna say, is that there just needs to be a little more explanation to the story. Because in that way, it'd be a lot more easier in the matter of way. But other than that, the story was actually really good. Now, I exactly liked how the flow went out. It's not cliche tutorial, not like the Sleeping Beauty director's cut. I remember reading that last year. Oh boy. It's a ripoff of Squidward's Suicide at parts, and it's okay, but like the grammar was fine on that one. But what I could definitely say about this story is that it needs to have like a little bit of a better explanation. Now, what I would do is maybe just edit the story, or at least put down at least more explanation of why everything's happening right then and there, like all over the place. Because if the story is all over the place, it's quite confusing. But not only that, it's just very, kind of difficult to process on what exactly is going on for the protagonist's mind. Now, I'm just saying that just for like a reference of it, but here's another thing when I say about that Sleeping Beauty one. There were cliches in that one too, but it was alright. I didn't really care for that story, but it was alright. Now, another thing I could definitely say was that it's just, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just a little all over the place at the time. So I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why the story build-up is just kind of all over the place in many ways that I can count. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not really, crazy about this story. I don't hate this story. The story just needs a little bit more improvement. That's what I'm going to say. The story just needs a little more improvement on the more explanation to why all this is happening. Instead of sit there and, having it, spread out all over the place. Because then people are like, okay, what the hell is happening, basically? Okay, but other than that, the story was actually very well made. And there was time and effort into it. Now, I'm going to say this right now because this review, as long as it is, I'm going to wrap up the review. Now, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, people, that's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 8 out of 10. Simply an 8 because the story, halfway, parts of it was just a little all over the place and confusing, jumping from one to another, and I could definitely say there was the last bit of it, which was the cliche that says, oh, I would never watch Spider-Man again or something like that. Yeah, that cliche has been used too many times. That's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. But other than that, the story was actually really well made. Especially that there was good grammar, good storyline, concept, sentence structure was good, and even the paragraph structuring was really well done too. So that's something I can definitely say that I liked about it. But other than that, it just needs to be fixed up mainly on the explaining, about why all this is happening. And not just sit there, throw it in there and just leave it there, just right there, basically. Like, right there. Because it just doesn't make any sense to me, that is. But other than that, the story was actually really well made. And that's the best thing I can definitely say. But other than that, I really do enjoy this story, and I really do feel there needs to be a little bit more improvement on the explanation to why it's jumping from 1 to 100. But other than that, the story was actually very well done. And anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so then you guys don't miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out here. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. And like always, please roll the outro because I'm out.